Hello, everyone. Welcome to week number 46 of my 52-week challenge to do a live stream every single week on LinkedIn. I can't believe I'm almost to the end of the year here, and I'm glad to have a guest all the way from Malaysia, Alicia Anne Patrick. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Stephen. Hope all is well on your end as well.
Yeah, and then you said earlier it's your birthday today, so thank you for joining me here on your birthday. So we'll wrap this up quickly so you can celebrate the rest of your day here.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So today we'll be talking about youth empowerment and finding your passion. We'll talk about the importance of youth empowerment. We'll talk about how to find your passion. All these are really great things to do to help yourself as well as help the community. But before we get into that, Alicia, do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Alicia. I'm 20. I just turned 22, so I just started a job at EY, and I care a lot about social impact, helping the community. Um, I also have a part-time role in a social enterprise, and and I also have a podcast. So yes, I enjoy speaking. I like to mentor, and I do my fair share of MUNs, and basically a lot of stuff. Basically, just to summarize, and I'm that person who's always looking to learning new skills, learning new things, and helping people around me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's good that you're busy, but you're able to manage all these things on top of your full time job at EY. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about your podcast?
Yeah, sure. So my podcast is called Passion Empire. It was something that a good friend and I, we sort of had a catch up call in sometime back in July, and we had this idea to start a podcast together. And we realized that in Malaysia there were so few podcasts that would really excite or uh, gain interest, especially among the youths or young people, because there's just not the culture of listening to podcasts among young people in Malaysia is not really there because everything is boring and informative. And we wanted to sort of challenge that by introducing something that would not only educate and inspire but sort of empower young people to chase their dreams, chase their passion. And we do so by inviting guest speakers who and we don't really have a requirement. You can come as long as you want to just share your story, and in that way we're sort of giving that opportunity for guest speakers to also contribute their story and share their passion. So that is what we're working on.
Yeah. So did I get the name correct down there? Passion
Yes,
Empire Podcast.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually thinking about starting a podcast next year as well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, just like anyone can be a guest on my LinkedIn Live. Send me a message if you wanna be a guest, and I'll add you to the end of the list here. So, but yeah, you talking about your podcast is related to youth empowerment and just enlightening and helping those who are younger than us. And it's a perfect segue into our first topic here. Why is youth empowerment important? Why should we spend the effort? Why should we spend our time empowering those who are younger than us?
I would say this is so important because fundamentally the world is changing at a very rapid rate, at a very rapid pace, and the youth are the generation, the next leaders of the future. We are the next generation. We have to protect the generations after us, and yeah, we are going to lead. We're going to lead the future. So it's important that we build the foundation of preparing youths for the future, and in doing so making sure that youths are empowered and motivated to sort of pursue whatever they want to pursue, and in that process be the best versions of themselves. And in that way we can help each other out, we can help communities, we can really bring about change and create an impact, which is so important right now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, right? Because we can't like just us individually, us just one person. We can't make that big of a difference in the world, right? Of course, you want to make the world a better place. You want to help others, but you know by spreading out your experiences, sharing your knowledge with so many different people, especially those who are younger than you, it's more and more people can have an impact on the world, right? And it just compounds, it just adds up together, and it's amazing what will happen. That maybe you have a guest on your podcast, or here we have our LinkedIn Live, and someone just gets something. They get a key nugget from the podcast or from the live stream, and they take that with them, and they can share that with more people, and so on and so forth. So, just continue to share your knowledge, share your experience with others, because we need everyone. We need all of us together to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do you mind sharing some ways that you've empowered others, or maybe some ways that people can just empower others as well?
Yeah, maybe I can share one of the most recent, and I would say the biggest way I've done this is I actually had I actually co-founded and managed an NGO, an animal welfare and not-for-profit organization here in Malaysia. It was a youth-driven NGO. I sort of had that vision for it. This was it's been 2 years since that project, but basically um, this was my biggest challenge, to empower people, because I had to attract youths to join this NGO and to contribute their skills and experience, or just contribute their time to learning how to undertake this function and whatever activity or role that they have. And at the same time, COVID was happening. Everybody had their own commitments and struggles and challenges. And as a leader, because I was the president, I had about 23 people to manage, and my own set of commitments. It was really tough on my end, but I sort of realized that empowering others means you have to set an example. You have to be a role model for them, and that sort of means leading your own life first before you can lead anything else, or a person, a team, a department, or an organization as a whole. You have to first set that example, because only then they will see that, see the qualities of a good leader. And really, the next thing I would say is humility. It really goes a long way in not just trying to um, stay humble and know how to, I guess, navigate through everything, but you sort of have to encourage everybody, take an interest in their lives, take an interest in their problems, because that is what it is. And everybody is going through their own struggle. So you have to give them that reassurance that you're going to be there with them, for them, in that way. And I would say empowering is it's a very generic concept, and there are so many different ways you can empower. But what is, I would say, my key takeaway is knowing yourself, your values, and aligning that to empowering people, because you have to be very personal about it, because people can see right through you, even if it's through a screen or what, right? Because we're all working remotely. It's so important to gauge people and gain their trust, and have that sort of build that sort of respect with people. And I feel like that is something you will not find out overnight. You need to experiment. You need to give it time, and yeah, it really goes a long way. So yeah.
Yeah, you made a lot of great, excellent points here, and I think one of the first things is you have to lead by example, right? So you shared that, especially during COVID, times are tough. People are struggling with so many different things, and you said you were struggling with many things. You had so many things on your plate, but you have to set that example, because you never know. You never know who's watching, right? And if you set a high bar, set a high expectation for yourself, and then you're coaching others, you're teaching others that you should do these things, you better follow those. Follow what you said as well, right? Whatever I share on LinkedIn, my tips, my advice, talking about posting on LinkedIn, engaging with others, my resume tips, interview tips, etc. Those are things that I do, right? I tell people you should start posting on LinkedIn. You should start a 52-week challenge, and I'm here every single week, every single Friday, posting a live stream, doing a live stream on LinkedIn. So I really like what you said, just by setting an example, and then other people, are inspired by you, and they will follow as well. Yeah, and we have a few comments here. Just want to say hi to a few people. James, all the way from Malaysia as well. So hi,
Hi,
James.
James.
And then this is Casey. It's good to I think you're connected with Alicia here, so just want to say hi to
Yes.
Casey as well.
Hi, Casey.
And then a couple people closer to me here in the U.S. We got Maria. Hi, Maria. And as well as Philip. Yep, not quite a weekend for me, but it will be right after this live stream. And Alicia,
So
you're already
yeah, it's
halfway
the
through your
weekend for
weekend.
me.
It's
Yes,
Saturday for you. So back to empowering others. I just want to share my personal example. I like to give back to my alma mater where I graduated from San Jose State. And I go, I do presentations about LinkedIn. I help with resume reviews. I help with mock interviews. And people ask me, so why do you do that, right? Why are you spending your time helping college students while you're already working, you're already established in your career? And for me, I just say I just want to help others because when I was in school, when I was at San Jose State, I didn't take advantage of these resources. I didn't. First of all, I didn't know about these resources. Now I want to be that resource for others. I want to help others along their career journey. I want them to be ahead of where they are than I am today. Right? When people show up to my events, I said, "You guys are already doing better than I was in school because I didn't go to a single event. I didn't go to a single presentation, and you're already doing better than me. You're here networking with me as a speaker. You're here learning about LinkedIn, things like that." So, do you have anything else you want to add to that about how you empower others as well?
Yeah, actually, based on what you've mentioned, I can actually relate so much in the sense that when I was in school, I did not have that kind of support. I did not have a great group of friends. I was mostly alone, and I had to sort of figure things out on my own and go through those dark days. And I sort of understand. When you really don't have those resources, or you don't have access to them, or you don't even have the support or the network to do anything, and you need to rely on yourself and only yourself, it's tough. And and being a girl, some more, I've gone through a fair share of other struggles of being bullied and things like that, which make it even worse for me. And I don't want to see younger girls or younger youths go through those things. I want to sort of be there for them at this point in life, at this point in time as well, to be their guiding force, to sort of motivate them and give them that support that they really need. Because most of the time, it's not that somebody can't do something, it's just they don't have the support to do it. So, yeah, I can totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it, right? Because you want to be that support system for others that you maybe didn't have earlier in your life, right? You're talking about being bullied. I'm talking about when I went to school, I didn't take advantage of those resources.
Yep.
So at the very least, if you're just on the fence on like, should I go to this event and speak, or should I, provide resume reviews, or should I just share my experiences with, with the youth? Just think about some people are struggling with a lot of things today that you can't see, so you can always be that inspiration, that motivation for them. So always go out there, put yourself out there, help others, and don't be afraid of, oh, I'm not an expert in this, or I don't have the credentials. If you're older than most of the time, especially when you're talking to children or teenagers, if you're an adult, they will take you seriously because you already gone through those years in high school or middle school or college or whatever. Just always put yourself out there and share your experience with others.
Yep.
All right, let's transition to our next topic here about. We actually got a couple comments here first. Just want to say hi to Vincent and then hi
Hi.
to Sherry as well. So thank you for joining our live stream here. Let's move on to our next topic about finding your passion. Alicia, I'll let you go first. What is your passion? And actually, before you go into it, if you're watching, put in the comments what is your passion, and I'll highlight your comment. So sorry, Alicia, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I have so many, so I didn't know which one to decide on. So I would just give a general one, and which basically sums up all of my passions. My passion is to basically be the best version of myself, and in any way possible, be it through my professional experiences, be it my personal experiences, be it my hobbies, in what I pursue, uh, as a person, in the relationships that I have with people. My passion is just to be the best version of myself. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, where did that originate? Like, like when did you decide, or how did you decide that I just need to be a better version of myself every single day? I want to grow. Where did that come from?
Okay, so it's actually a pretty interesting story. It sort of started last year. I was actually studying in Australia, pursuing my bachelor's when the COVID pandemic hit. I was in my final year, and my family in Malaysia was worried about me. So I sort of packed everything and came back. And I was in quarantine for 2 weeks. And surprisingly, during these 2 weeks, I had a lot of time to reflect and pray, and I had a lot of time to think because I was alone in this room and nobody was disturbing me, and so much time. So my thoughts were like all over the place. But uh, I also realized that I had put on a lot of weight. I wasn't healthy. I wasn't eating right. My skin wasn't looking good. And I was depressed, or at least I wasn't feeling good. I knew that much, that there was just so much to change about me, to be happy, to sort of find my purpose and whatnot. I mean, I had come to a decent point at that point in time. I know I was studying in Australia's leading university, and but then I thought it's something is still missing. Like none of this feels great. Like that internal fulfillment wasn't there, and it was straight out of quarantine. When I came back home, I started to lose weight. I started to take my diet and lifestyle very seriously. And I would say during that whole transformation process of losing weight and shaping up and eating right, the desire and drive to be the best version of myself started to come about. And then I realized that not only was I shaping up and losing weight and looking better and feeling better, but the things that I was doing around me was also getting better. My focus in my studies, my project work, how I was with people, everything started to change bit by bit. And that's when I realized that um, I needed to take this seriously, and I want to take this seriously. And fast forward a year or so later, I'm in a much better place in terms of what I've accomplished and the number of things I've done and juggled while being home, and not getting bored or losing my motivation, right? Because it's so easy to feel overwhelmed and bored and sad when you're just home behind a screen for so many hours. But I haven't I haven't felt that, and it actually feels really good. So yeah, that was how everything started.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I just want to say, it's amazing that you've discovered that growth mindset so early on. I developed my growth mindset. Let me see. You said you just turned 22 today. I'm trying to figure out
Yes.
how old I was. I was probably 26, 27, right? So again, this is part of
Wow.
the conversation about empowering others. That hey, Alicia, you're ahead of where you're way ahead in your career where you are today than I was at 21, 22. But yeah, it's the same thing with me. And just want to share a couple examples. This is why I share my goals publicly on LinkedIn, and all my goals have a reason. I'm not just doing it because I want to, you know, show off or I want to, help others or whatever. They all have a reason. And when you talk about the health and the unhealthy diet and gaining weight. That's why this year, we all went through the pandemic. We all went through the COVID-19 or whatever, gaining weight. So that's why I challenged myself this year to do a different fitness goal every single month. So I tried to hold a plank for 5 minutes in January. That didn't work. So I split
I
it up
could
into
do that.
I just split it up throughout the day. Um, in April, I challenged myself to run 100 miles, and I did that with like 3 days to spare. And then every month since July, and I'm still doing it. This is now it's good because it's a habit. Every month since July, I've done 2,021 push-ups, squats, and sit-ups every month. So it's just
Wow.
you just need that internal motivation, saying why am I doing all these fitness challenges? Oh, because I gained a lot of weight during the pandemic. I feel unhealthy. I feel sluggish. I feel lazy. I need something to get me going. Another thing is with these live streams. And last year I got approved to do LinkedIn Live. I only did 2 of them, and I felt bad for those who got LinkedIn Live approved, but who couldn't get LinkedIn Live approved. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here with it, and I haven't doing anything with it. So I decided to challenge myself to do a 52-week challenge of live streams to share it with LinkedIn that I deserve to get LinkedIn Live, and I'm actually using it. And here I've been able to have conversations with so many people all around the world. Here in Malaysia, I've talked to people in Africa and Europe, in Asia, in different countries in Asia as well. So if you're just struggling on trying to find that fulfillment. Just think down, like, what do I need to change about myself, and then you start setting goals to get to where you need to be.
So true.
All right, just want to say hi to Israel as well. Thanks for joining here. And you shared a lot about your growth here, and you mind going into a little more detail? How do you find your passion? So with all these different things that you're doing, what motivates you to do all these things?
What motivates me to do these things? I would say um, a lot of the trauma and difficult experiences that I've had to go through sort of gave me a very strong reason to keep pushing myself. Obviously, I do love what I do. Like whenever something excites me, that's when I know, okay, that's my passion. Like that's my reason to wake up every morning, or that's my reason put up a smile. Like that. Obviously, there's that part of it, but there's also the part of me that has gone through a lot, and because of that struggle, I always tell myself never give up and never settle for something, um, because it's I guess when you're a child and when you have to like grow up in an environment that isn't exactly ideal, uh, a lot goes through your head, and in that sense, I had a lot to deal with growing up. So in that sense, it's a constant reminder for me that no matter what, I should never go back to who I used to be, um, because yeah, that was just like a whole nother thing to deal with. And but honestly, everybody has their own what do you call it, way of feeling passion. For me, it's always thinking about what makes me happy, what makes me smile, what makes me want to go out of my way to do something for somebody. And yeah, it's really not a straightforward thing either. There'll always be ups and downs. You have to experiment with different things in order to know what you like, because just because you did something, that doesn't mean you can't do something else. Like I studied accounting. I always thought I'll be that math geek who just crunches numbers, but I am far beyond that right now. Even in my job, I'm in consulting. So that's why you don't know what you like until you throw yourself in the deep end sometimes. And that's just life, and experimenting with different things. It keeps you going, it keeps you fueled. And yeah, that I would say that's really how I managed to find my passion.
Yeah, you made a really excellent point here, and I want to point actually two points. Find what makes you happy, right? And then the key here is find what makes yourself happy, right? Don't do it to make your parents happy, to make your friends happy. And I think a lot of since we're talking about youth empowerment, I think a lot of students who are going to college or university, they're picking a major because their parents want them to. They go into engineering because their parents want them to go into engineering, for example. And with a lot of people that I talk with at Sound Day State, and I ask them, why are you studying computer engineering? Why are you studying accounting? And then that's like, oh, what's your true reason, right? Because if you're doing it for the money or any job, that's not the right reason. So I think you have to really look deep down what will make you happy. Because 4 years later, 8 years later, if you're going to a doctor or whatever, you're going to realize at the end of the day that this isn't what I want to do, and you just spent all that time and all that money doing something you didn't want. Um, so with everything that I do with these live streams, I have fun doing it. It's my thing to look forward to at the end of the week after a long work week, right? I get to interview a different guest every single week. Get to have a conversation about different topics. With my posting content on LinkedIn, I enjoy helping others. I want to share my experiences, my lessons learned with other people, and I'm open to talk about anything. So with your passion, again, it doesn't have to be related to your job. Your job is, of course, you have to enjoy your job, but your true passion can be outside of your job, right? All the stuff I do on LinkedIn, it's outside of my normal work hours. Anything else you want to add, Alicia?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. And then I just want to highlight a comment here from Sherry. Life motivates me in my passion, which is to educate, train, and be kind. So those are great things to
Love
do as
that.
well. To educate people, to train people, and just be nice to people. I think, that's definitely we need more kindness in the world.
For sure.
All right. As we wrap up here, I just want to put out Alicia's LinkedIn profile here. Make sure you connect with her. Just want to give you the last couple minutes here for you to make a plug. What do you have upcoming? You can talk about your podcast as well. What do you need help with, or how can you help people?
Yeah, I would say go give a listen to the podcast. I believe the link is in my profile. And let me know what you think. It's still a relatively new project. We only started in July, and we only do an episode a month, considering our hectic schedules. But we plan to um, make it better next year and sort of invest more time into making recording more frequently and things like that. So it'll be really amazing if you guys could just give it a listen and reach out to me if there's any great insight or any comments about how it is.
Great. So I'll put up your LinkedIn profile again. So make sure to reach out to Alicia. Go check out her podcast and see how she inspires and empowers our youth here. Anything else you want to add, Alicia, before we wrap up?
I would say that's really it. Yeah.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for commenting, for showing up here, for supporting us here, and a major thank you to Alicia for joining me here on your birthday.
Thank you for having me.
On your birthday here. Happy birthday to you, Alicia. And I'm excited that next week. It's week 47. I'm going to have Philip Davis on. He commented a little bit earlier, so excited to have him on next week. So. Again, thank you everyone for watching, for supporting us here. Thank you so much, Alicia, for joining
No
as well.
worries.
And have a great weekend, everyone. Talk to you all next week.
Bye, everyone.